Rebekah, good to meet you. Good to have you here. Thank you for
Yeah.
coming.
Thank you. Thanks for having me and inviting me.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Let's start with your music and actually your inspiration. Where do you get inspiration the most these days?
I would say I get inspiration nowadays. I mean, probably from my gigs, from playing. Still, it's still like harnessing energy, and then that energy I can bring into the studio. I'm not in the mood right now to do anything down tempo or more like experimental. I'm in a full era of like making club stuff, wanting to
Mhm.
like find my way through what's going on right now because I'm influenced a lot by like hard styles, like hardcore is probably my MO at the minute, hard style, and all of these like areas where it's like we were pushing, say prior to Corona, we were like pushing. There's a handful of DJs that are pushing up to
Mhm.
industrial techno and then into like industrial hardcore. We were already kind of at that point. So now it's kind of gone to the extreme level. So I get really inspired listening to, lots of hardcore producers just because I think at the minute they're really good. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot to be said. Love it or hate it. Like they know what they're doing in the
Mhm.
studio. So that's kind of like one area I'm dabbling with. I still can watch a documentary or a movie, TV show, and I'll just hear, a line or like a little snippet of some music. And yeah, I will get inspired from that
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. I read in a previous interview, you said something about internal dialogue. That is something that stimulates creativity for you. Does that still ring true?
Probably less so now. I feel like maybe it's because I'm older and I give less fucks right now. I don't know. Like my mind, I don't know. I I'm not tormented by my inner dialogue anymore. I'm not
Mhm.
like in this, heavily doubting myself. I know that I'm not like the most amazing producer. I'm not the best producer, and
Just a quick word before we go back to the interview. Thank you so much for watching or listening to the podcast. I'm Joseph, and this is the Almost Sound Studio. If you enjoy this content, please consider liking and commenting on this very episode, and also following us on the platform where you listen to or you watch podcast, but also follow us on social media. If you have suggestions of guests that you really would like us to interview, see the link in the description. There's a form where you can submit suggestions for guests and also if you have questions for them. Once again, thanks so much for watching and listening to the podcast. We love what we do. I hope to see you soon on a dance floor.
but you can't escape yourself, like
Yeah.
you can like, so I think I've just eased into myself and become more comfortable as I got older, and that's through my DJ, through my studio work. I understand that not every track you make needs to be released, and it shouldn't. I don't know, it's a process, I suppose.
It's a process that comes with time and also experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your creative process right now when you produce music? We will talk about DJs in a second, but DJing in a second, but like producing.
Okay, so when I go into the studio, I generally will come in with clear ideas because I've been traveling so much. Like I was in Patagonia in Chile, and I just had space. I mean, that was a great inspiration. So I had like space to think a little bit more about what I was doing, and it cleared my mind enough to come up with some ideas of like, okay, that's like my biggest track in my set right now. And why is it the biggest track in my set? Like in trying to break that down and like understand why it works and having the crowd sing certain things back to you. And I'm like, okay, maybe I should try and make something like that. It would kind of be fun. I want to have something where they, like we communicate even more beyond dancing. So coming with those ideas when I'm away, like I go into my notes and then write a load of things down, maybe try and make a rough sketch while I'm
Mhm.
traveling. And then when I get back into the studio, then I can kind of like thrash it out a little bit,
Yeah.
flesh it out a bit more, be the right word.
Got it. And for
Yeah.
context, so when you say your biggest tracks is like the tracks that resonate the most in a set when you play. Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's this track that I play called Wanna Play,
Mhm.
and it's by The Prophet. And like I discovered it through my boyfriend's girlfriend while we were driving around Dubai, and it's like 190 BPM. It's intense, like full hardcore.
Uh-huh.
But I was like, shit, I'm gonna play this. It's cheesy. I'm gonna test it.
Mhm.
And then when I played it, I was like, oh my God, they know it. Like
Yeah.
people know this. Like you go to Italy, Spain, America, where else have I been? I was in Porto just now, and they all sing it back. It's in Germany. They all know it's massive. I mean,
Wow.
it's probably got like millions of plays on Spotify.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was like looking at that track and be like, well, I mean, I'm never going to get close to that because that is like one in a 100,000 tracks that go to that extreme of like, they just resonate. But it'd be nice to try and understand why it works.
Yeah. What do you think makes it special, that particular track?
It's got different elements to it. So it has like the big hardcore, like low frequency kicks. It's got the huge synth line. So it's classic kind of like hardcore. It's made for a big room, but it's got these kind of like, the hardcore attitude, which is, the things you can sing along to. But it's also got other little snippets of vocals, whether it's samples, like more female vocals. It's got like a variety of stuff. But when the vocal kicks in, everything goes. It's just like the vocal with some effects, nothing else. And then it's like,
And
let's
goes
go.
back. Yeah.
And then obviously hardcore is all about kicks. Like that's the signature, probably why I resonate with it. Techno and hardcore are pretty similar because it's all about kicks in techno. How many hours do you spend on a kick? And it's the same in hardcore.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. I mean, hardcore, like I come from that scene actually. Like that's where I started. When I started playing in DJing, I was playing industrial hardcore. This was like 15 years ago.
Wow.
So for me, there's some stuff from, maybe you probably know him, like Detest as Prospect Recordings as a label. That just the way they process kicks, and then with one kick and different distortion, you can actually create like phrases. For me, it resonated so much. I totally understand it. And for when you think about your production, what are your tracks that you particularly resonated with and you feel connected to?
Oh gosh. I mean, they're all made in a kind of like period of time. So if I listen back now to, say, my first album on Soma, it's like I appreciate it. And at the time I was really connected to it. It had all of this like, melody and dark structures and then had some like influences from my past that I was listening to. But if I listen to it now, I'm not as connected to it. So it was definitely like a feeling or a moment in time which I needed to process certain things. I think I'm more connected to the music I'm making now because it's more fresh, of course. I don't know. So it's a good question, but I don't really know. A lot of people still really like During Birmingham. And then when I listen to it, I'm like, okay, yeah, but I'm not connected to because I'm not playing that sound anymore.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that I haven't released that I'm still connected to. Like there's some music that I made in COVID period, and it was because I was gaming a lot, and I was playing Cyberpunk 2077, and I like it was really inspiring because it's like the people that did the sound design for the game, it's like they were trying to make techno and futuristic stuff of what they thought it would sound like. So they were making all this weird techno. And then I was like, oh, it sounds really weird. And I quite liked it because it was outside of the box.
Yeah.
So then when I went back into the studio after gaming, like God knows how many hours, it inspired me to be a bit more experimental. So I appreciate that. So some of that music is really like still quite emotional and hasn't seen the light of day yet. There'll be a time, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's a point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you think it's emotional content? So for example, because it seems, for example, that particular period in your life, you were gaming, so you found some solace maybe in the pandemic, and that you connect to that when you listen to the tracks.
Yeah. And I think now the tracks, I would say that the tracks I'm most proud of right now are like, I've got the first hardcore track. I got a remix which is coming on Prospect actually. And I'm really proud of that because like I listen to the sound, and I think that's the thing with hardcore. It's like, it's so like you feel the space and it's tuned and it's pitched and it's like, it has something, it has these layers and elements, and like the couple of tracks, and they haven't been released yet. So I'd be interested to see what people make of them. But I'm more proud of them because I'm like, wow, like they sound really fucking good. And it's took me a long time for them to get to that level.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No. And I think also like I would assume that like in your case, you're touring so much also your
Yes.
workable time in the studio is not that much, because then if you're taking flights, like how many gigs do you play now in a month on average?
I'd say probably about 8.
Yeah, so
7 to 8 a month.
2 per week roughly,
Yeah.
in 2 different places, obviously.
Yeah.
So you're taking flights for like, years, traveling and tour and playing for 3-4 days.
Yeah, it's not easy, and I'm gonna probably say something that people aren't gonna like, is the way that I've been making music is like I have been using like samples mixed in with my own resampled stuff, doing the classic Serum synthesizer, just because it makes things faster. And I don't have the time right now to be, with my modular noodling and like recording. And, if you have modular synthesis, you know how long it takes. Like some days it's like, bam, you get something amazing. Other times, or most of the time, it feels like you're really like fighting with it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the beauty of modular. It's just like, it's so unpredictable and the outcome's like, infinite almost.
Mhm.
Especially when you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
What does this do? I'm joking. Yeah, it's like having a good foundation of sound design is definitely beneficial for all synthesis, to be honest.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And you were saying exactly that, like for you, I mean, I think that if you find your way, whatever, like you need to make your process doable, because otherwise the result is that you will not do music for months. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I would love to be one of these producers that I'm like, I'm gonna do 2 days of just building my kicks and that's it. And I don't have the patience for it. And I've done it, I have got my own kicks and I've done, I bring them in. So I'll know if there's a frequency that is missing. I know which kick to go for that frequency. So I've kind of like probably done a lot of the work previously, but like now with hardcore, I mean, I definitely should, and I'm sure the hardcore guys are going to be like going, because it's all about sound design. It's all about making the kicks and resampling. And I I haven't had as much time as I would have liked to do that. So
Mhm.
it has been a lot easier just to like throw in some kicks, do some pitching, like then layer in some of my kicks and, you know, just just to do this and then also testing things, testing different kicks from different genres, because obviously
Mhm.
we're in this free era of putting different genres together as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second, because I think it's super interesting. Do you feel free in your art right now and freer than you were maybe 10 years ago? Also because of the industry perhaps has changed a little bit.
I mean, coming to Berlin was always like a level of freedom. I never felt like I was restricted with my music making or production. I felt more restricted with maybe other elements around my performing or, what I was wearing, how I was presenting myself. All of those things were less free than actually being in the studio. I always found freedom in the studio.
Mhm.
So I think now I've always just gone with what I want to do, what I want to play, So I don't know. I feel I've always felt free.
Mhm.
I think. I think then that freedom came really from just making music for the sake of making music. Like, what do you want to make? Like the hardcore track that like I made is just
Mhm.
me jumping around in my studio for like a whole week.
Yeah.
And that is freedom in itself. It's like, did I enjoy the process? Yes. Was it, like a lot? And it came very quickly. I didn't think about it. And that is what you want to do when you're being creative. Prior to that, like before I came to Berlin, it was more like I said, I think we talked maybe when the cameras weren't on, but
Yes.
I said about how I DJ'd first and then I wanted to make music really just to get out of my city to become an international DJ. And that was the time I was in, like mid 2000s. And there was so much pressure that I put on myself to like, you've got to make a track. It needs to go onto drum code. You need to have it on, like I was so strict with myself that it took all the fun out of making music and the freedom. And actually like the label should be the last part of the process. You need to make the music first and then go, where would
Yeah.
it go?
Yeah.
Who's going to like this? Maybe. So
Yeah.
that there should always be freedom in the studio,
Yeah.
I think.
And it's super interesting because you went through a phase where you felt less free because you felt like you had to do something. Was that directed? I'm pretty sure it's yes. That's right. to try to get more gigs? Because your dream and vision was to get,
Being honest, I was young and I was like, so I put a lot of pressure on myself, you know, all through my 20s and, you know, probably just leading with my ego. I was like, I want to be a big DJ and I want to do this and do that. And, you know, like just the choices I made when I was like 16 to want to DJ, you know, like they didn't leave me. Like there was no real value or purpose of why I was doing it. It was just like full ego driven. And then, then I was like, no, I need to do this now. Before it was like, I could do this and just be a DJ. And then things changed and it was like all about making tunes. And then, but then I just fell in love with it. Once I'd let go of all of that. And I was like, you know, why am I doing this? It's like to be creative, to express something, to share energy with people. And like once I'd shifted that and, you know, took the drugs out, I mean, drugs was a really big thing and a big problem in clouding my judgment. Then that was when I was free. And then that was when I asked, like, who am I? You know, what do I have to say? Who am I as an artist? And, you know, okay, what's coming out of the studio? And it was just techno. It was like, it wasn't really tech house. It wasn't minimal. It was like techno. And then I just went with it. Like, see where it took me rather than me trying to force it into, you know, into a space.
Yeah.
That maybe wasn't meant for me.
And let's talk a bit about your essentially development in topics you touch. So I've read like you've been fully sober for 15 years, right? 16 now, wow. Which is, so since 2009, right? You made the choice. What was going on at that time in your life where you said, okay, this isn't really not good for me, I need to cut?
If I'm being honest, I was just really depressed and I found myself like it was a lead up of about 3 or 4 years. So I'm really wanting to stop. And I think I wanted to stop even earlier than that. And then having some counseling and then being able to stop for like 2 or 3 months and then starting again. And the problem is when I had the counseling got rid of a lot of like my guilt, my resentment. And then when I started taking drugs again after that, I was like, I didn't have any conscience anymore because like all of the things that was keeping me like in a battle with myself and hating on myself for taking drugs, like that kind of went because I was like, I'm at peace with myself. I'm going to just take drugs. And then that just created this huge void in me, like a big depression. And I was actually really suicidal. Like I was,
sorry.
It's okay. That's just where the drugs were. If you take the drugs out, I'm not suicidal and I love my life. And, you know, but it just really was like a massive block. And that's kind of where I was. And then that woke me up because I was like, you know, at the train station, like, what would it be like if I just jumped in front of like, what? Like, what's going on? Like, stop this. And then that then made me go to like Narcotics Anonymous and then really get help through the rooms and find like-minded people that understood what I was feeling, found some community. And then that was like, then just step by step, everything just got better after that.
Yeah. And that was when you were still in UK. You were still living in UK before Berlin.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I could never have come here taking drugs. Like, I don't know how people do it. Oh my gosh. It's a crazy city.
It's a crazy city. It can be because the temptation is so there all the time, especially in music and in a lot of art contexts. Like it's almost normalized. Like it's like you're drinking water, you're ordering a drink. People take drugs very often. And so in your case, you made the decision. And I'm sure it's been also tough to make the decision, but it was like a build-up moment. And what was the hardest part on being sober for now 16 years?
Now it's really not hard. It's like, I mean, I don't really think about it so much, to be honest. I think early on, like I really put myself in situations because I was so in, like I so wanted to still be DJing and to still do music. I already put myself into certain situations quite early on to see how I would be and how if I could tolerate it. And I kind of understood that the problem isn't outside, it's me. So I need to learn how to say no. And I think that just the things that I really miss, and it's not necessarily the drugs, it's just probably what, like, you know, when you're with your really good friends. And I think what drugs give you is like you're living in the moment a lot of the time. And that's why it's so addictive, because you're not thinking about the past. You're not thinking about the future. Like the time just like, it feels like it goes forever, but it's really quick when you're taking drugs. And I miss those moments with really close friends where you're just in that. And I think that's probably why I like going to the mountains so much, because that gives me the same feeling. I'm like, I'm in the moment, I'm not thinking about this, or nothing really matters. And sports is another way that you can be in the moment as well. And that's the thing that I would miss about it. But I don't miss like the paranoia, the come downs, the suicidal things in the middle of the week, and doing what you have to do, but nothing more. There's no creativity. You're pissed off most of the time. And then before you know it, you're like, oh, it's Friday. Let's do it all again. And you forget. And I don't miss being on that little
treadmill
wheel.
almost.
Yeah, I don't miss it at all. And
for sure.
And I think the key to it is like, if you do want to stop, you need to build a life that you're happy with without the drug, and sometimes it's not easy, I think.
Yeah, for sure. When you started, so before you decided to stop, like, do you have the feeling that you were doing that to numb yourself, like to escape, or it was more to be, as you say, present and have more fun than you would if not?
Yeah, I think there's probably many factors. Like I was like, one, it was a massive habit. Like I'd taken drugs from such a young age that it was just part of it. So I would just had associations, like, I don't know whether you get this, but you walk into a bar or a club, the first thing you do, you go to the bar, you get a drink. Like there's these little things that we do instinctually that, and I think I was just really anxious. So I had like a lot of anxiety. And I think that's probably part of it as well. So straight into the club there, make sure I've got everything drug-wise. And then I never wanted it to stop. And that's probably my addictive personality. I wanted more of it. I didn't want to go back to just being isolated again on my own, or, just probably very lonely and depressed. And yeah, but I'm like an only child. So I spent a lot of time alone. So that's probably why I loved it. Maybe loads of people. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. There's many factors, I think.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing also, like, for...
It's okay. If it helps people and people connect. I mean, that's the part which I never got when I was younger. I felt so alone, like no one was really talking about drugs and it was a taboo, and you just had to sort of suffer and try and stop. Just stop. It's not that easy.
That's isolating, right? So instead of like helping the other person, like we tend to just push them away, like, okay, no, you should not do that. So you make you feel shame. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you get that a lot? For example, for people reaching out to you, like people reaching out to you and saying, hey, Rebekah, I'm so inspired by what you do because of my journey, XYZ. Do people reach out to you for that?
Yeah, they do. And it's really lovely to see people being inspired and then finding their own way, through it. And I think that was a really big part of, like with my recovery, is like one friend I knew, and he almost, I think he got to like 10 years. So I was really inspired by him, and he did it a lot earlier, but it was a fair bit older. And I was like, wow, I mean, he can get clean, I'm sure I can. So it's always that kind of, you need somebody else that's done it, and somebody else that can go into a club and still stand up and DJ and drink water or Red Bull and still be able to do it and know that it is possible. And I think we all need that. But it's not me that's the person that reach out to me, they're doing the hard work. They're the ones that have to go through their withdrawal, or they have to, find their way, look at who they are as a person and make those changes. Because if you just take the drugs away, so like a really classic saying, if you take the drugs away, you're still the person that wants to take drugs. So you have to change as a person. You have to analyze things. You have to let go of all your resentments towards everything. And a lot of it is like your expectations. You got to get rid of all your expectations and just sort of show up to life, and whatever happens, you got to deal with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's tough. Very tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we spoke about the challenging part. Like, what was, if you look back at your 16 years of history and this journey that you've been to, which I'm sure has been not easy, like, what has been the most rewarding part? And as you were saying, like you need to create something else that is an alternative to drugs.
It's like you build some self-esteem in yourself and you become the person that doesn't do that anymore, doesn't want to take drugs and party, and you become proud of yourself, and then you achieve things and you become proud of it. It's also a really good way of like not going back to that way of life is tell people,
Mhm.
because we have, as human beings, we are, we're very much peer pressured into lots of things. So if you broadcast, like I broadcasted it to the world because I was like, if I tell people and then I relapse, like what that makes me, what kind of person? It makes me weaker. But it's not the case, because people relapse all the time, and it's not that they're a weak person. It's that it's fucking hard. These substances are massively addictive. When you start looking into like, heroin, crack cocaine and all of those, they are highly addictive. And not everybody can find their way through, or they can do it for a certain time. Anyway, so it's like building this life for yourself and things that you're proud of, and that doesn't appeal anymore to you. For me, I just know that I don't want to lose everything I've worked for and built up. And know that I can play everything forward. So I can play the tape forward of like how that's going to look like. Okay, so you're going to go out, you're going to party, you're going to go to Ibiza, take loads of drugs on a mission. It's going to be amazing for like a day. And then what? I don't know how I would be after that. It's not worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's probably it.
Yeah, tough journey. Thank you again for
Yeah.
sharing. And when we started talking about this, we're talking about in the context of you making music and also finding what you wanted to say as an artist. So 2009, you were still in UK. You moved to Berlin 2014, I believe.
2000 and what year are we in now? 2011.
2011, okay.
Yeah.
So like pretty soon past that, you decided to move to Berlin for music. And what happened around then that kind of changed who you are right now in terms of your musical direction?
I just think Berlin happened as it does to everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I got the tattoos, I got I didn't cut all my hair off, I didn't do the whole thing like that. But I mean, I did a lot of other things. But no, what was really amazing about Berlin for me musically was just that, the freedom. I came from a city, I came from Birmingham, and a lot of that is so fashion led. It's seasonal fashion. So everybody kind of looks the same. They follow the trends of the music that's specific for that city. So when I came here, it was like, wow, I can actually, if I want to wear all black clothes, I can. If I don't, I can. There's not like a specific seasonal change of wardrobe. I can just be myself. And I think that then filtered into the music, and I could be the even harder version of myself. And I loved it. I was like I wasn't really going out that much because I was already like, when I got here, I already had the gig. So like, I literally got here and started gigging pretty much straight away. So I didn't have as much time, but definitely going to Berghain and tuning into like the space, a lot of the music, a lot of techno that we know as real techno now it's because of the spaces it's played in. Like you go into there and the Berghain is it's so imposing, but you realize what style, like, this acidy vibe that it has. And it's just because of the way the system's set up, the room is shaped. So that has also an influence. That's why you'll find a lot of DJs that come in with one style end up they're here long enough, they end up making like real techno. There's always good fun. And just these places, like this reverberated spaces where you move from one room to the next and you're just hearing like these sounds, and techno is it's the sound of that.
Yeah. So that really deeply influenced you in terms of like your DJing and your production, right?
Yeah.
You were already producing back then?
Yes. Yeah. I've been playing since like 96 and then making music from around 2006.
Yeah. So you were already like almost not 10 years, but you were like few years in production journey.
Yeah.
And you mentioned also before in the interview that you asked yourself the question, what do I want to say musically? How was it back then? Let's say when you moved to Berlin, 2011, and how did it progress to 2015 with also the we've been talking about later with the summer album, and now.
I mean, it progressed, just the freedom to make and experiment with techno. The more gigs meant more money, more machines. So I could invest money into studio gear, and then, so I could experiment more, getting into modular, then progressing more into like sound design and like doing more external courses for that. And then yeah, I think the constant is the always having like the other influences of, like the samples from films and things like that, little details which make a track a little bit more interesting when you're making it. But generally, yeah, it was more of that journey. And just, yeah, I mean, I think I have like fits and starts through the year. So like now, like I've just come from like 4 weeks of absolutely no studio time at all. It's just not possible. But then I know now, after this week, the weeks that are following this week are going to be more studio based. So I've got the time, less gigs, more time, bit of a plan. And I've always worked that way. I have to. And I think that the discipline of that comes from having a full-time job. Because like a lot of people are, oh, I can't make music because I got a full-time job. But when I had a full-time job, I would be really clever with the days that I would book off. I mean, no boyfriend, let's be honest. Like I had really zero life outside of my job. So it was more of the fact I had the luxury of doing this, but I would plan my days, like my holidays, where I could have like a day either side of the week, plus like, some holiday in there. So I'd have like 4 clear days. And then that was the time I was going to go in the studio. So I think that benefited me moving into this period, because it's all about the discipline. And then, yeah, just having these moments. And I feel like once you go back into the studio, it's like riding a bike. Then you're like, maybe at first you're like a bit unsteady. Then you make one track. You're like, oh, I think it sounds amazing. And then you make the next one quickly after that. You're like, oh no, this is much better. What's that?
Yeah.
After the one side. So I feel like you get better just when you can like batch a load of tracks.
It compounds.
Yeah. Word, yes.
Yeah. And you also started your label, like Elements, in 2014, right? So
yeah,
that was like a time for you of, you started, moved to Berlin, you found your way to make music already in these batches of sprints.
Yeah.
Then you started your platform and you were gigging on the side. What was the reason why you started in 2014, the label Elements?
It was because I believe like CLR was finishing, closing down for that period. And I wanted to create my own vibe. I wanted to do it in a really cooperative way. So I worked with a visual artist. It was like a whole art project more than anything. So it was like the idea was like 4 EPs, the different elements, and then the concept. So I really enjoyed working with the concept. So it's like one element was fire, water, and then what does that represent within techno music? Like what does that, like what is the sound? Like what are the machines? And so it was a really nice way of making music and making tracks. Like I think I did 3 or 4 tracks for each. Well, the idea was for each one. And then I ended up signing some music for those EPs as well. So the idea was to have these 4 EPs as a concept. And then it just kind of grew. And then I was getting sent music, and I was getting music from like my favorite producers that we could then do remixes of. And it just kind of grew and expanded. But I always liked the idea of like visuals, creating like showcases where it all comes together. If I'm a DJ foremost, it's like that, it has to come back into that and into the performance side and like how it's presented. And I really loved Malika Maria's visual outlook, because it really reminded me of like mid-90s kind of techno where everything was a bit disturbed, a bit horrific, a bit uncomfortable. So you'd be like popping your pills and be like looking at the screens like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then having this kind of extreme music playing at the same time. So it was always, the vision was always a little bit bigger than just having a label for releases.
He was related to the performances.
Yeah. I wanted it to come full circle into the whole, and elements then is like the different elements of a night. It's not just me on a stage performing that's making the whole night. It's like, it's everything that's around it, and it's not the DJ as well. It's like the people that work there, and everything comes together for one night.
Yeah. It was also like another way to express your artistic freedom and also your creativity.
Yeah.
How has that evolved over time? So now we are like 11 years in, and how do you think about the label now?
I mean, the label's kind of gone through a bit of a transformation.
Yeah.
So we've moved from elements into like go hard or go hardcore. So now I'm focused more on the harder sounds, and we've recreated the label to host that for now. And then what started off as literally just the hashtag became like some merchandise, and now showcases. We have like a big visual. Like I kind of did want to move from these horror visuals because I feel like I'd kind of moved on, and I wanted to do more sort of like 3D. Still kind of be weird, but maybe more 3D, you know, with as the technology has moved forward for visual arts. I find that really exciting as well. So yeah, it's moved. It's still the same concept, but we're just doing a little bit harder music, different visual artists, and with some clothes.
Yeah. And go hard or go hardcore, there was like you started it before the label, there was something you were saying. Yeah, exactly. And then you renamed the platform, the label after that.
Yeah. It just seemed, I mean, actually, like I kept my label. I mean, Elements is the original label, but it's not actually the catalog numbers. The catalog actually is RBK. So it's actually RBK Records.
Yeah.
So like, it's like an umbrella. I have an umbrella system going on with my label. So it can evolve and move. And it just seemed that because I didn't want to lose my back catalog and close it off because everything was sort of set up. We just sort of transitioned a little bit.
Got it. So RBK catalog number is the umbrella, let's say the mother brand, if you want. And then you had Elements, which now on hold, because it was a different era. And now it's a go hard or go hardcore.
Yeah. Just something fun, and it's an evolution of, I think, a lot of things at the minute for myself and what I'm into.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, I mean, like you said a lot of times, like freedom is what you are after.
Yeah.
I wonder whether you also receive hate speech online, comments of people say, oh, I really liked you, whatever, 10 years ago. Why don't you do this music anymore? Why are you doing this thing that I don't like? You know, do you get that a lot?
Not a lot, but I do get it. And I think it's really, you can see with like my follows. So for every like 1,000 followers I get on Instagram now, I probably lose 2, or it's crazy. Or for every 2, I lose 1. So it's every 2,000 followers, I lose 1,000. So it's like constantly changing over. But like if it was 10 years ago and then somebody from that period was saying, I prefer the person that was, you know, the DJ that was that was like more funky house that I was playing back then. So like it's always an evolution for me. And like I suppose it's probably my addictive personality as well. Like I'm always searching for something that's the next thing that's going to make me go, wow, you know. And I appreciate real techno, I do. And I just, for me, like I'd already moved on from that in the late 2000s anyway, in 2000 and teens. I don't know what you call that period.
2010s?
2010, yeah. And so I was already, you know, it was already moving towards hardcore, but maybe it was just played slower. So it doesn't, so those people, when they come back and they're like, oh my God, it's 20 BPM more.
When they see the original track,
they're
like, oh shit, it's actually fast. Yeah.
So I think that's also a thing. And then hard techno became really popular, and I got put into, so this is a true story. My music was always in some like peak time techno. And then Beatport decided, oh, we're going to create a hard techno subgenre. And they just moved all of my music into this. I didn't ask them. I wasn't really happy about it. Because my idea of hard techno is like, you know, Pet Duo, Svetek, Obi, and it's like schrancy stuff.
Yeah.
That to me is hard techno.
I would agree.
And then they moved all the industrial techno into hard techno. So there was this point in time just before COVID hit that I was writing them. I was like, dudes, like, what are you doing? Put me back where I belong.
So interesting, yes.
And then from there, when your music starts getting classified as hard techno, you become a hard techno DJ. And then it shifted a lot of harder DJs into this area. And obviously now it's created its own sound again. But it's weird that the Beatport people obviously foresaw something and a movement that was happening. Maybe I didn't see it, but
Yeah.
it wasn't something or somewhere I was hoping to go, to be honest.
Yeah. I also wonder whether they really foresaw something or it was just like a decision they made for whatever reason and that they created what now is called art techno, because all the new generations arrive on a platform like Beatport, they hear that sound and they're like, oh, this is art techno. That's, they kind of like rename whatever they're hearing after art techno, which is the definition of Beatport.
Yeah.
So maybe that is almost like a two-way influence.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, now they're doing it, 6 years later, they're now doing it with hard dance. So I made a bunch of hard techno tracks and they put it into the hard dance section. And that area is wild right now.
Yeah.
And it just got lost because I was like, no, this is hard techno. And I was writing them again. Put me back in hard techno.
Wow. Yeah.
Didn't happen, but I was, so, wow, gosh, I'm a walking cliche. So people have a lot it's very similar to the press and like how press in previous times could like make or break scenes and styles of music. But they have a big power.
Yeah, for sure.
For classifying music.
Yeah. It's a big platform for dance music, for DJs as well. It's probably the most important. And one question I wanted to ask on this topic of potential hate online or comments, how do you shield yourself mentally from getting hate or negative comments?
I mean, in the beginning, you can't because it catches you really off guard. It's taken me years. So for me, it's like you get the comment and, you're scrolling, you're pleased with what you've done and created or performed. And then you'll just get a dig. And if you're not 100% sure about yourself, then that's just echoing something somewhere in your mind. It's like saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Then that's when it can cause problems. So I've done it all. I've been caught up. I've been the one that's replying back to them. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's, having people talk to me in capital letters, which is really intimidating.
Yeah.
And at some point, I don't know, I just learned how to delete and not think about it. See a comment now, and it's usually, I miss the old Rebekah, delete. Or this is shit, what are you playing at, delete? And it's like, because on my platform and my pages, that it's what I want to see and what I want to present. And I will, one, I don't want to be commenting and, I could leave them and then the other people start joining in, but it ends up being so negative. I just don't want it around me, this negativity. For newer artists, all I will say is that you will get negativity. If you come up really quickly, you will definitely get negativity. If you're female, you will get negativity. If you're highly successful, you will get it. And you should just use those as benchmarks of like, okay, it's going to happen. It will happen. And actually, for every comment that you get that's bad, there's hundreds that are more positive. So just don't dwell on it and really ground yourself in who you are, what you say. Is this authentic? Because if it's authentic, what you're doing, and you really believe it, no one can bring you down. But like, no one can say anything to me that I haven't said to myself. So in the end, it's like, I just do a quick check with myself. Am I having fun? Am I enjoying what I'm doing right now? Do I love it? Yes. Okay. So you can have your opinion, but that's not my truth.
For sure.
But that's kind of it, really. But it took a long time to get there.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I mean, it's like one too many. You're exposed to anybody who from anywhere in the world without exposing themselves can throw stones at you.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Like you are in a position of disadvantage.
Yeah.
You're like in this pit where people can throw stones at.
Exactly. And everybody gets it. The film stars, pop stars, producers, artists even, anything that could go into the world where you're putting something out there can be heavily judged. You will, you need to find your people. And then through that, you also find people that aren't your people and have something to say. And it's never about you. It's always about the other person. And what you're doing is like, I always say, you're just holding a mirror up to this person and it's reflecting back something that they've either lost or they don't like in themselves or that they've switched off from themselves. Like, to be successful and stand on the stage and and do something. Maybe that person's dream has died. They never thought it was possible.
Yeah.
And then they never had the courage to try or put themselves out there. And that can also upset people. But you're just a mirror always.
Very true. Yes. What do you think people tend to get wrong about you the most? Obviously, people that don't know you.
I don't know. I don't know whether I come across as being like quite far away. I don't know. When I'm actually really open and like I've got, you know, you can come and speak to me at the end of my set, and you know, I'm pretty open and will give you advice and stuff. I don't know. Really don't know that I sold out. Actually, you need to come and hear me play if you think I've sold out, because like the music that I play it's definitely not like a whole set of commercial hard techno.
Yeah.
I can't do it. It's impossible.
Yeah.
I still have to play different styles and stuff within a set. It just looks like I'm just having more fun with it now because I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what do you think they say? I mean, if you looked at Reddit, I don't look at those places.
I didn't look, not specifically. I find these things are very tricky because of what you were alluding to before, which is, I think generally we're humans. So one negative comment is probably weighs another 25, 30 comments that are positive.
Yeah.
So we need to be very careful and cautious, like when we look at anything that is like Reddit or just public comment. I look at Reddit, for example, for Almost Sound, when we do the production masterclasses to understand a bit more about what people think about the masterclass. But sometimes you see these comments that people are like trying to destroy the artist or us, like with this, like, it just feels like hatred, you know? And I'm like, okay, I mean, what can I do? I try to laugh, but of course it's not personal to me. So I think there's a bit more distance than I think if I was getting that, like, to me. And then back to you, I don't know. I think the question I asked you before, like, do you get hate comments because you change style? That would be my presumption, that people would think about that. Because if someone follows you and followed you for your early 2010s era, and they loved your music for that, they might be pissed off because now you're doing something quite different.
Yeah.
Which is associated, the quite different stuff is associated a lot with a lot of the purists of techno think, oh, this is the TikTok techno that people, and people hate it. And then I would expect that someone would transfer the hate to you.
Yeah. I think that probably is the biggest thing. It's like the misconception that I just suddenly I just jumped onto something more commercial, and it was not that. It was already an evolution. So if you listen to a set in 2010, then again in 2014, then 2016, 18, and then you will see the evolution. It's not like a jumping. It's like, I definitely have got slightly easier with my sounds, where it's like I'm playing them. If you see me smiling, I'm like, probably my head going, this is a bit cheesy. Like, what are you doing? But then I see all the crowd having fun and I'm having fun, and it kind of makes sense. But I'm still trying to challenge people at the same time, you know, through hardcore, because it's not for everybody. Like the hardcore sound is hard industrial, you know, massively open records. You know, sometimes it doesn't work and people hate it.
Yeah.
And people leave and stuff like that. But I'm still trying to challenge people, and that's all I've ever tried to do is through the music, because I'm challenged, I'm excited, I'm hearing things for the first time again.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. Like, people may come on my page and like that have not been on there for a while and be like, what the hell are you doing? And this doesn't sound how I liked it before. But lots of DJs have changed. Like Richie Horton has gone through many different evolutions. Adam Bayer was probably a big one as well. I'm not saying I'm in the same category as these guys. Chris Liebing, you know, we're all searching for something new and something fresh and something that connects, and also something that's still authentic to us. And every artist has to do his own journey, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. And I think also, unfortunately, that comes sometimes at a cost that you would piss someone off, right? Because like, what would be the alternative? You stick to something that it was true for you 10, 15 years ago, to the detriment to who you are right now. It's option.
Yeah, and you'll find that the guys that do that, guys and girls that do that, they have like side projects. So someone asked me actually they're like, well, why didn't you just do all this hardcore stuff under a different alias? And And I think because it was more of an evolution for me rather than just like a complete switch, that's probably why I didn't do it. If I think about, okay, I'm going to do this bouncy minimal sound now, I would have to create an alias to do it because it would be so extreme for me to switch to that sound now. And I think that's really the case with a lot of the DJs that change style, and it's done so evolutionary wise.
Yeah.
But like also like your favorite bands, Rolling Stones, or for me, Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
Their early albums are amazing, but if you hear them now, you're like, I don't connect to that anymore because I'm still in love with the idea of them. But it's also because I haven't followed them for so long. I haven't been keeping my eye on what they're doing for the last 5 years. So if I went to hear them now, maybe they're not going to sound how they were. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems for you, I mean, you've been through a progression that is authentic to you. That's your journey.
Yeah.
So unfortunately that some people might not like it, or they might like you, but 10 years ago, huh?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I just found myself, and it's all about coming out of the comfort zone as a performer. Like I didn't, like I always wanted to be underground and, and it wasn't, I realized it wasn't my actual choice. It was some kind of conditioning. I came into the industry as a woman who had done modeling, taken all my clothes off. And I knew I was going to get a hard time being taken seriously. And I was. I mean, it was the truth, especially in the UK. We're very prudish there. So once I was making music and trying to get taken seriously, everything just was like, I'm going to dress down. I'm like not going to try and take away from anybody's, light. I'm going to come and do my set. And I kind of held myself there so I could create this distance from what I was doing before to them. And then I think the recent years is about like conditioning that and being a bit more playful and being more free and like I said, not caring about what people think and experimenting with my femininity again in different ways. Maybe not through the music because it's but everything else around it, I wanted to connect to myself as a woman because I feel like I'd suppressed that part of me to fit in with a bunch of dudes in techno.
Yeah, it's super important point. For example, sexism, this idea of inequality of treatment and opportunities to non-male, huge topic. It's always been like that. I think we got to a much better place in the last few years, and you've been one of the biggest proponents with an audience in doing that. What do you feel is still a big problem we're facing as of 2025?
I still feel that they're like, still things that I see is like, I still don't get sent enough music from women. So women still don't have as much confidence in their music productions and, sending it out to people. And like, I wish that they would just have more confidence in that area because I still get very little music sent to me, like on SoundCloud from women artists. And then some, I feel like we've reverted a little bit backwards in the lineups.
Yeah.
A lot in hard techno, which I see, it's not uncommon to see like 6 guys and 1 girl on a lineup, and it's not diverse right now.
Yeah.
I feel like there's been a push through different genres and different scenes. I would like to see more of it within some of the harder dance things. Be nice, but there's still, and I think that those two are probably quite linked. Like women just fucking send your music out. Like if they say no, they say no. It doesn't mean that the music's bad. It just means it's not right. But you've just got to be in it, and that's going to be making the change because there's more female producers out there. That means then they have more like airtime with the music that's played, and then that can build your career into getting into these bigger lineups. But at the moment, it seems to be a bit unbalanced, and I feel like we're through this period of like putting, positive discrimination. It's like we went through that, and it's so hated about, like it's hated, because people feel like it's taken away place from someone that deserves it. It obviously in some cases it has to happen that way. That's what positive discrimination is.
Yeah.
But I'd like to still see more women making music.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, the challenge, as you're mentioning, right, is the representation. You don't have it. You think it's not possible. You don't have many other friends who are non-male, who are producing, who are good producers. And then you think, okay, I'm a trans person or I'm female and I just don't have any reference, any role model around me. Do you think, is there something that for you has helped you? Like role models, mentors, people that actually welcomed you even 10 years ago when it was even harder and gave you the opportunity that for you were like, oh, I'm thankful for this person, this opportunity that I got because it really helped me be more confident and believe more in myself.
Yeah, I think like I have a mentor back in my city. He's been DJing for many, many years and producing. So he was always cheerleading me on. So that was my first foundation, and just having someone to send music to. I think now I'm working really closely with Malky, who's a Brazilian producer, hard techno producer, but he's from previous hard techno. So like I really like his point of reference. He does a lot of stuff with Lenny D and Industrial Strength. So he's also got this hardcore reference. So I've kind of been lucky to meet people, but they are generally all guys. That's really the truth. I've been inspired by females in the scene for sure, like to make music and to push everything forward. Ones that have come before me, and even now the younger ones, because the younger ones just they come in with literally with a big set of balls and they're ready to go. And some of them, the girls that are really successful now, like they're fearless, and I love it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what you have to be, but they get a lot of flack for it. But yeah, I feel the hardcore scene it's like the industrial hardcore scene is really open. Like I feel that scene is really nice. You can send music to like, Gareth at Prospect and he's been really, really good with female DJs and producers at Prospect. So there's pockets there that are really, but it seems to be very underground.
Yeah.
And I feel like in techno, it's the same. It's very underground, and that's where you'll meet your people to get your mentoring and get your music out there.
Yeah. You launched a mentoring program, right? A few years ago.
Yeah.
It was 1-to-1. So you were doing, How was that? How was the experience for you? What do you think? Did it help producers? What was your learning from that?
I think it was 3 women and 1 guy. And I really solely wanted them to focus on music. So it was more about getting a plan with their music, getting it finished, and then looking at labels, like how they approach it, cleaning up everything, on SoundCloud, making sure that everything's, clean on Instagram, and then moving and helping them open some doors. And I would say 2 have moved on to do some really big things, which I'm really proud of. And it's not me, it's just me guiding. It's like, I'm not taking the credit for it because they were already super talented producers. It was just like helping them, guide them a little bit to the right places and ask them the questions. Like, because sometimes they have a vision of where they want to go, and you kind of look and see, actually, I think you're missing something bigger here. And it's kind of nice to be able to kind of give them the options, but also guide them. But it's a really rewarding experience, but it's also a lot.
Yeah, for sure. All time and energy. Yeah.
Which was nice in COVID, and definitely something I would really love to do when I'm like semi-retired. Is like
From
maybe
touring.
do coaching and, like helping young producers.
Yeah.
In all areas, I'd love to work with people that have got problems and, with the mental things, maybe with the drugs, and just get them back.
Yeah. Wonderful. 2 more questions and then we do the final set of questions. One is, if you were to start off in 2025, let's say you're an emerging producer, we can focus on FLINTA. What would be your focus right now? Let's make it specific. So your objective is to play gigs. Like your objective was to be an international DJ playing, touring.
Yeah.
The same objective, but today.
I would be splitting my time between making music still and building some social media platform.
Yeah.
And maybe, looking at ways how I can, present myself as the person that is going to be performing already. Sure. I see it quite a lot I know people are going to hate it, but TikTok is a really good platform for that. We see DJs that come through TikTok that are just in their bedrooms playing, having a good time, and then they slowly come into the scene. And first it might be like a novelty, but you need the music in the background. You need to be working on the music, because when that time comes, you need to already be ready to get your music onto labels, get all the DJs playing it, and then you'll get taken more seriously.
Got it. Yeah.
See that happen. And I feel like now the scene is more welcoming of that, because especially in the kind of like the harder elements, because it's so new, it's like a whole new scene again. A lot of the audience is young, and they just will appreciate it.
Yeah. So it's like, leveraging social media, producing, really focusing on honing your craft.
Yeah.
And talking to the new audiences that are forming on if you want to play.
Yeah.
And my last question about this before we go into the final questions is about balance in life. You obviously do sport a lot, has been a core part of your life for many years. How do you create space for your boyfriend, or friends, or sport beyond the studio and of course touring?
I think it's just, for me, it's the word is integration. So in the beginning, when I'm into anything, I'm like all in. Like recently, I've been obsessed with jumping spiders. That's my thing right now. So at first it was like, taking days off in the week to go and buy them things and like build their little homes and stuff. And then eventually I stopped buying them, and I'm like, okay, it's enough now. And it just becomes an integration. Sport is, CrossFit. I was mental for CrossFit for like 6 years straight until I got injured. And then I backed off a little bit, and back in, back off, back in. And now I generally just do, it's integrated. So I do 2 days a week. Like, it's what I can manage. So it's just balance.
Yeah.
But maybe you don't have my personality where it's like all in and then nothing, and you can do it. But I love, like, my perfect day would be like wake up, do all my little spiritual stuff, my journaling, get into a good headspace, then go to the studio, have like, a good few hours in there being creative, then go to the gym, then come home, cook a meal, and then play PlayStation.
Yeah. To relax.
Yeah. And then that's like the perfect day. And probably in the morning, look after my spiders before I go to the studio, feed them and get them out, have a look at them, make sure they're all right. And that's the perfect day. Like, but when I don't have a boyfriend right now, it's not an invitation. I'm single and happy right now. But when I do have somebody else, then things start going a little bit off, like, because you have to compromise.
Yeah.
So I'm in my little bubble at the minute and it's working, but I know that if I've brought in another person, then there will be some compromises to make. And usually it becomes not going to the gym, not playing PlayStation
time for them.
anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You see regularly friends, like close friends, I mean, people that in Berlin, you manage to have time with them.
Yeah, like I see probably one every 3 weeks, one every couple of weeks. And usually it's me roping them into something that I want to do, and like some crazy little adventure. And I have another friend who's like one of my best friends is in San Diego. So we just spend a lot of time voice noting, which sometimes is like a podcast.
Yeah. You just listening to half an hour.
Yeah.
Dates.
Like cleaning the room, listening to what she has to say, and then like make notes. What do I need to respond to? But it's really nice. And it feels like these are our pen pal friendships of the new modern version.
Exactly. But not.
So yeah, it's I don't have that many friends, close ones, but the ones I do have are good. I'm old, so I'm older.
Yeah.
So
you manage to keep them in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great to know. Fantastic. And final set of questions, rapid questions, so answer whatever comes to mind first.
Sure.
What drives you in life?
What drives me? My curiosity.
Very cool. What has been one of the funniest guest list requests you have ever received?
I wouldn't say it's funny, but it's like when you get requested and you feel like you're doing somebody a favor, like just a random person. And then it's like, but can I bring this person and this person and this person? And it ends up being a very long guest list. And So I think one person ended up being 6.
Multiply.
Yeah.
If you have to choose one closing track for your sets for the rest of your life, which one would you choose?
I think Outlander, because I can see it fitting pretty much everywhere. It fits in a house set, it fits in a techno set, it fits in a hardcore set, because it is kind of like UK hardcore trap.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And would you rather play in front of 10,000 strangers, a massive festival, or 20 close friends in a house?
I think it would be easier to do the 10,000. My friends would be really like, they all like different things. I've been having to play like some tech house, some garage, some real techno. It would be a bit of like, I'd have to really work hard for that.
Yeah. You will need to prepare more than that.
Yeah.
For a set right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both are great, to be honest.
Yeah. Very cool. What are any plans, projects you are excited about for the future?
Obviously, we just had a release out to Go Harder, Go Hardcore. So we just had the second Various Artists EP. So that's out now. And with that was a load of like new visuals. So I'm really excited about taking that on the road. We've got some showcases planned coming up.
With the artists from the VA as well?
Yeah.
Amazing.
And some showcases. And currently I am working on I've got a bunch of tracks that I'm trying to get finished by the end of August, and maybe but it's going to be done in a different kind of way, a bit more conventional, like a bit more unconventional. Yeah. So we'll see how that gets released and how I'm going to promote it. I want a different challenge with it rather than just putting it all out.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Looking forward to hearing it, and good luck with the process. I mean, it's a lot of work as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Fantastic. And closing tradition, we always ask the guest to tell us a question we should ask the next guest without knowing who they're going to be.
Okay, we didn't really talk about it today, but social media is always an interesting topic. And I think people like to know about what people's views on that because it's so divided.
Yeah.
And it could help people as well.
Very cool question. And there's a question for you, which is, what do you think it means to be an artist?
I think it means to create for the sake of no reason at all. And yeah, I think that would be it. Just to create, be creative with absolutely no purpose or reason whatsoever.
Very cool. Rebekah, thank you. It's been a great time.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Thank you.